Hi, thanks everyone for joining me today. This is Denise from Denise Designed. If you were around last month when we did the fall Crafty Google Hangout theme week, I highlighted again a wall design, and I created a hanging burlap wall feature in my dining room. It's actually one on either side because I like symmetry. But I took burlap, covered the canvas, and then I added a wreath, a fall wreath. Now for Christmas, because I'm going to continue my burlap design throughout for the Christmas theme, I'm actually just going to take down the wreath and replace it with a Christmas one. So that's going to be really fun. I'll highlight that in a tutorial for you in a future post. Because I do love wall designs, that is where I really spend a lot of time and put a lot of creative energy towards designing my walls. I also do think that when I design and put a theme, my walls are very important to make sure that my theme continues to flow. And so that also is in relation to when I decorate for and design for the different holidays. So for Christmas, as I mentioned, I'm going to do this here, and I've got various other things that I'm going to do throughout my house that I'll highlight. But for today's wall design, I wanted to do something a little bit more different than this, I would say, very pretty feature. I wanted to do something that you could actually find very useful. So how many of you guys love Christmas cards? I do. How many of you guys get a bunch of Christmas cards? I do. Pretty exciting, isn't it? I love Christmas. It's a fun time to go through and see your friends. It's a fun time to read what's happening in your family's lives. And it's just great to be able to have that view and see them when you don't normally get to see them in a regular happenstance. So what I decided to do for you this time was to, and I apologize for the phone, was to create a Christmas card display that you could hang on your wall. Now, over the past few years, I have had varied displays or means in which I've displayed my Christmas cards. And this is the design that I used last year that I'm actually going to use again this year. I loved it that much, and it was that useful. So all you're going to need is some sort of backing, either a cork board, either cork or that thick foam board that you can get at the craft store. Now I chose cork because cork seems to hold the thumbtacks really well. And it's a very thick cork that I was able to use. You're going to need to choose your fabric. Now here you can see I chose a very festive Christmas fabric that has the same basic colors that I use throughout my design, which my favorite color is red as well. But for this particular purpose, I'm just going to use just a plain red fabric. You're going to need the adhesive, spray adhesive. You're going to need a pair of scissors, and as well you will need a stapler gun. Now we're not going to use it in today's session because last month when I did this on such a large scale, it was a little bit complicated to show you the process very effectively. So I'm going to try it on a smaller scale. So the board that I'm using is fairly thin, and so to utilize a stapler gun for that, I think would probably ruin whatever piece of furniture or carpet that I'm sitting it on. So we're going to avoid the stapler gun today. But then the other thing that you'll need is some sort of either ribbon or wire to hang. So it depends on whether or not you want anything to show above it, whether you would use a wire or whether you would use a ribbon. So I put them both on here, but rather than taking the time and showing you how to do that, because it's fairly easy, we'll review that here in a second, but you'll need a ribbon or wire as well. So very easy. Now, this of course is my cork for today. As you can see, I've already attempted to glue a couple of times, so this is like my third iteration of this video. I chose this cork I chose obviously again on a much smaller scale in hopes that you can see it a little bit better in the process. You take, and obviously you're going to cut your fabric first so that it's just enough fabric that you can cover the back side of it. See if you can, just enough so you can fold it over. You're going to make sure then as well that you spray. Now I don't have to spray a whole lot since I've already sprayed a couple of times, so it's got some glue already on there. You lay your fabric over the sticky adhesive side, and then you just start to brush it out so that you don't have any creases. Now, obviously on a much larger scale as this one over here, it took a little bit of time and I actually did it in parts. This one is a little bit easier since it's on a smaller scale. But as you can see, it's sticking to the side, to the front side. Now what you want to do is make sure that you spray the back side as well. And then you just start to fold over. In the back, obviously, you're not going to see that, so it doesn't have to be as clean, but I would caution you with just making sure you don't have too much fabric and it is somewhat clean, because the more bulkiness that you have back there, the more that it kind of sits away from the wall when it hangs, so you have more ability to see kind of the back side then at that point. Now for this purpose, however, since I don't have a staple gun, it is going to be more bulky. You would use the staple gun to take a lot of that bulk away and to enable you to fold it a little bit better. So as you can see back here, I have adhered the fabric to the back side. These are the areas that you would then want to fold under and staple so that you could not see the fabric on the edge, and so that it was down and tightly secured so that it did not add too much bulk in the back side. And an example of that, if you can see here, here are the staples right in here that I stapled to keep it down. And then voila, you have your covered fabric board that enables you then to stick a card and a pin in to hold it. The last piece of that is just to make sure that you either choose your wire or your ribbon. All you're going to do is use your staple gun and secure it in place. Now I did this to show you both. The wire obviously is so that you can hide it and you may not want to have a piece of ribbon hanging out, and instead you'll just have it hanging from the nail and resting on the wire. With the ribbon, you have then a little bit of ribbon hanging out, but it'll rest then, the nail will rest in the curvature of the ribbon. So now you have a usable Christmas card display that actually as well then adds to your Christmas design. I hope that you enjoyed this session and that you got a little bit of inspiration, and that you will go out and purchase your own supplies and make something very much similar. Send me your pictures if you have them. I'll also post a tutorial next week on how to do this a little bit more in detail. I wish you guys luck. I wish you a happy holiday season, and I will look forward to seeing you back again soon. Thanks. Have a great day.